Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Gaming on Board. Tonight we're going to take a look at a solo game that has a lot of expansions already available for it. There's a lot of stuff out there for this game, and I really enjoyed it. We're going to take a look at Hostage Negotiator. This is an already open copy. I'm going to show you what comes in the original base game, and I'll give you a quick run through of how a game will go and how the theme works in this game. It's got a really amazing theme. You actually feel like you're negotiating with an abductor trying to free these hostages and then capture or eliminate the abductor. So anyways, let's go down the table, see what you get in the box and how it plays. Alright, so this is Hostage Negotiator. The fate of the innocent is in your hands. Really cool artwork. Reminds me of another game, but the name is escaping me right now. So anyway, here's the back of the box. It shows you a few of the cards, a little flavor text here, an overview, what comes in the box. This is a solo game. Only one player. That's it. 15 to 30 minutes. That's about right. Ages 15 and up, sure, maybe because of the content. But I'm sure younger people could play this. It's by Van Ryder Games. Currently it's 3 years old. So there's one of the abductors. There's the Hostage Negotiator. That's who you're playing. And there's the front of the box there. Alright, so let me show you what comes in here, how to set it up. So here's the game rules. I really like this instruction book. I mean, I'd never played this. I didn't watch any videos on it, and it was really easy to follow. I was able to start playing in about 10-15 minutes, about the amount of time it takes to read this. So they give you all the rules, some additional information, and then they have a little achievements checklist here in the back. So that's cool. And then this is really nice. I used this a lot in my first game. Quick reference guide, what all the symbols mean. Then here's your little player tableau. They got some cool artwork on the back there. Yep. So basically, you have a threat level here, and then these are your conversation points. This is the currency of the game, and then this basically tells you how many dice you're going to roll. And if you get too far, he starts killing hostages. He or she. All the hostages in the game will go here. The killed ones are moved down here. The ones that you saved go here. And that's about all I'm going to explain about that at the moment. So that goes up here in front of you. So what you'll do is you're going to have terror cards. And these are basically small events in the game. Then you'll have pivotal events. That will be the final event in the game. And then you really gotta, that's really do or die situation when you get here. You get like 2 conversations in a row. Each turn is a conversation, basically. So you'll build a terror deck. You'll take 10 of these. 9, 10. Put those down. Grab one pivotal event at random. Place it underneath the terror cards. So that is your terror deck. And you'll flip one of these over every round. Then you've got the threat level marker. So this little dude goes here on the starting threat level based on the abductor that you're playing with. Take your dice out, put them over to the side. Take the conversation token, place it on the blue phone icon on the tableau. Here's the conversation cards. I have them separated into starting and the market. There will be a market and there will be starting. So these conversation cards, there'll be 6 that have a 0 down here. Remember I said the conversation is the currency. So these are free. So you start with these in your hand. Then you will have, oh by the way, that's everything that comes in the box. You've got the hostage tokens, the tokens I just showed you, the player mat, the dice, conversation cards, terror cards, and then you'll have these the actual abductors and their demands. So, like I said, these are free. You start with these in your hand. Then you've got these that you'll put out in numeric order from left to right in 2 rows, lowest to highest. So let me move this up a little bit. So you've got 2 copies of 1s, 2s. Oh, and they all have names. So this is actually the name of the card, this little speech bubble. And he'll put all the matching card names together. And you'll end up with a row of 6 and a row of 5. So 3s. There we go. The 4s will start up here. 5. Oh, see, those are different names. See, I put these on top of each other, but they're not supposed to be because they're 2 different names. So, different name, different card. There we go. So this is the market. And during the spending phase, which I'll get to in a minute, you can purchase as many of these cards as you're able to without exceeding a hand limit of 10. So you start with 6 in your hand. I haven't got anywhere close to having 10 cards in my hand. So after you've got that set up, you'll choose one of the abductors. They suggest Arcane as you're starting. So this will basically tell you how to set up this player board here. So we start with 7 hostages, and the threat level starts at 4. I already put it at the 4 there. And then there will be, this will tell you how many demand cards. So there'll be one major demand and 1 escape demand, and there's no special rules. So he'll go right there. I'll go ahead and grab my 7 hostages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that will be your hostage pool here. And by the way, real quick, to win the game, you either have to kill or capture the abductor, which you can only catch him once all the hostages have left the pool, either died or been saved. And you can kill him with one of these cards that says abductor eliminated. But anyways, normally to win you have to have, you must all the time, you must have saved at least half the hostages. If you lose more than half of the hostages, if they get killed, you immediately lose the game. If this terror deck ever runs out, you immediately lose the game. If the abductor escapes, you immediately lose the game. So there's a lot of ways to lose and only 2 ways to win, which is save half of the survivors, half of the hostages, and then either catch or eliminate the abductor. So, and then each one of these abductors will have a few major demands, and then there's a stack of escape demands. So remember, for this guy, we put 1 major demand and 1 escape demand, and normally those would go above the tableau up there, but since I only have so much space here on camera, I'll put a major demand there, and then just randomly choose an escape demand, and that'll go right there. Alright, so the last thing you'll do is go through and find the second in command card. So if you ever eliminate him, but you haven't saved enough hostages yet, the second in command card comes out, and it's basically a follower of the abductor, and he takes over the operation. So if you ever eliminate, boom, that comes out. And that's the setup. So we built the terror deck. We set this to the level appropriate for the abductor, put the abductor out, got the demands out, and then you're ready to go. So the way the round goes, it says it right here on the back. Conversation phase, spin phase, terror phase. So conversation, basically you're just playing cards from your hand. So, and each of these cards will have 3 different effects, only one of which will activate. So let's just say one of my favorite cards here is Keep Cool. So I would play during the conversation. Thematically I'd say, let's keep our heads now. Let's keep our heads now. Neither one of us will get what we want if we lose our cool. So keep your cool. So I would play this card into my play area, which would be below all of this stuff, like down in here. I would play this. And then every time you play a face up, and I'll tell you why I'm saying face up later, conversation card, you'll roll the number of dice indicated by the threat level. So from 2 to 6, you roll 2 dice. At the K, which is 7, you would only roll 1, and anything below 2 would be 3 dice. So most of the time you're going to be rolling 2 dice. So I would play this, roll the 2 dice, and for each 5 or 6, you'll see this symbol, and I just got lucky and rolled 2 of these right off the bat. So for each one of these, you will look at the card, and since I got 2, this means I reduce the threat level by 1 and gain 1 conversation point, which is the currency of the game. And all these symbols are here on the back. So, and they're pretty clear. Yeah, so people can die, you can gain people, so on and so forth. You can even gain extra dice. But anyways, in this case, I decrease the threat level, which gets me closer to rolling 3 dice, and then I get 1 conversation point to spend later. Now, if I had only gotten 1, then I'd only get to reduce the threat level. If I didn't get any successes, I would lose a conversation point, and you can go negative, but it's okay. You don't have to work your way back up during the spending phase. This resets to 0. So anyways, one other die face worth mentioning is the 4. If you ever roll a 4, you can play 2 cards from your hand. Doesn't matter what cards. Play them face down, and it says right here on the back, you can convert this symbol into a success. So if I would have rolled this and I didn't want to lose my conversation point down here, I could play 2 cards face down and turn this into a success, which would activate the 1 success line here, which would just decrease the threat. But I didn't. I rolled 2 successes. So we're good. Another thing you can do during the conversation phase, instead of just playing a conversation card and rolling, you can play one of these face down, as many as you want, to gain conversation points in the middle of the conversation. And there are some things during these demands that allow you to do stuff with conversation points in the middle of a conversation. So anyway, you continue playing these cards until you don't want to play anymore because you want to save them for the next round, or you run out of cards, or one of these symbols is activated, which means basically the abductor hung up on you and the conversation is ended immediately. So those are 3 ways the conversation can end. Either you don't want to play any more cards, you don't have any more cards to play, or the conversation is ended abruptly. So let's just say I played all these cards and I ended up with 4 conversation points. After your conversation is over, you go to the spending phase, and that's where you can purchase these cards. And you'll see the conversation point value or cost down in the bottom right corner. And you can purchase as many as you want, but just remember you have a minimum or a maximum card hand size of 10 cards. So I got 4 points. This one lets me re-roll after a roll. And this one reduces the threat quite a bit. So I think I'll grab both of these re-rolls and this. So I spent all 4. Now let's say I still had 3 left. Well, I lose those because at the end of the spending phase, whether it's in the negative or you have any left in the positive, it resets to 0 at the end of every spending phase. After I've purchased everything I want, everything I used in the last round goes back in its respective pile. So in the first round, it's just going to be the zeros, which go back to 0, and I can immediately gain those back. Yeah. But just to clarify, you can't immediately pick up what you use because this has to be done in a specific order. So you can, like I said, purchase using your points, and then after you're done purchasing, whatever you took in your hand is what you're taking into the next conversation. Everything you used in the previous conversation goes back to where it belongs. So sure, you can get these for free, all of them for free, but you have to wait until the next purchase phase to get them back. That's why you'd want to hold some back in your hand for later. So that is the end of the spending phase. We spent our points to get cards, put them in our hand, and then put everything we used in the last round back where it goes. After that's over, you go to the terror phase. You reveal the top card of the terror deck. First, you resolve this, then you resolve the extra effect there. So the threat goes up 1. And then if any unrevealed demand, which we have 2 demands that are not revealed, and there is a basic card that lets you, here's one of the basic cards, reveal a demand. So sometimes it's good to do that. So we do still have one that's not revealed, so it goes up 1 more, and then we start the next conversation. And that's the flow of the game. So we'll play some cards, roll some dice, reduce the threat level, get some CP. Hopefully nobody dies. Maybe we'll save somebody. But it's really tough to save them, because you have to get these cards here that have the green silhouette bust there. That means save that many. This means kill that many. And they do die because of the terror cards. So, and then eventually these demands will be revealed. Let's take a look at this one. So this one says spend 4 CP, conversation points, to concede during any conversation for until conversation ends, get extra. So you can spend 4 CP to get an extra die for the rest of this conversation. The abductor escapes at the end of the conversation. So this is basically, you don't want to concede to this demand until you're positive you're going to win. And then the escape, is this the escape? No, that's the escape. Duh. So this one is spend 4 to concede during any conversation to save 2 hostages. And then you have to tap this, turn it 90 degrees, and your penalty is you lose a dice. You always roll at least 1 die. So, and this stays in play permanently. So as soon as you decide to pay 4 and save 2, you're down 1 die for the rest of the game, which is rough. So you continue to play until this deck runs out, or obviously you've saved half the hostages and caught the abductor. And the way you catch the abductor is, like I said, you can just kill him with one of these cards, or once all the hostages are gone from the pool, the next time you would save one, you catch the hostage. He basically turns himself in because there's no more hostages. So that's the only way to catch him, is if these are all gone, you've saved at least half of them, and then you save 1 more, you've caught him. Or you can save at least half of them and then kill him. That's how you win the game. But once all these terror cards are gone, you would flip over this pivotal event card and do what it says. So the abductor may not be eliminated while there is at least 1 hostage in the hostage pool. So you can't even kill him until all the hostages are gone from this pool. Then I believe you get 2 turns in a row. There's like one final, here we go. In the last conversation after the pivotal event, that'll be the final conversation. You may spend conversation points to purchase cards from the available area during the conversation phase. Cards acquired may be used from your hand immediately. This reflects a last-ditch effort to come through and save the day. So this is, if you get down to this pivotal card, you better figure it out during this last conversation. Otherwise, he's gone. So there you go. That's a quick overview of how a turn goes. And there's 3 different hostages in this box, or not hostages, 3 different abductors in this box, and they all have a certain number of major demands, and there's a few different escape demands. So there's a lot of pretty good replayability in this. I think it's going for $20 on Amazon right now. I really enjoy it. Plus, there's tons of expansion packs. There's abductor packs that add more abductors, and then the wild crime or something like that. There's I can't remember, but anyway, there's a big box standalone expansion for this with a bigger player tableau and a lot of storage stuff and more abductors. It's called Crime Wave. That's it. Hostage Negotiator Crime Wave. So anyways, I definitely suggest this if you're into solo games, which I am. I suggest this one. I suggest Friday. Those are both really good solo games. Onirum. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Leave any comments down below. Let me know what's your favorite solo game that's really rich in theme like this one is. I think this is a very thematic game. Also, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We post there daily. And as always, thank you for watching, and play all the games.